6:01, Tuesday, June 16th, 2020. The time is 6:01. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Lewiston City Council. Would you please do a roll call, Mrs. Wright?
Mayor Robinson,
Here.
President Goodman,
I'm here.
Vice President Head,
Here.
Councilmember Jones,
Here.
Councilmember Robinson, here, Councilmember Ross,
Here.
Interim City Manager Dennis Stroh,
Here.
Finance Director Stephen Bloom,
Present and you.
City Attorney Greg Overland,
Here.
City Clerk Patricia Wright, here.
Thank you, Mrs. Wright. We'll now do an opening prayer and a pledge of allegiance to the flag led by the mayor.
Our Heavenly Father, we come to you with burdens in our heart, Lord. There is turmoil in this land. We pray that you would just put your loving hand on this country all times, and we pray that you would be with the families who have lost loved ones in these recent days. Be with our military men and women wherever they may be, and please protect and provide for them. Be with this council tonight. Lead, guide, and direct as they make decisions for this city, Lord. And we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Item number 1 on our agenda tonight is additions, deletions, or changes of the agenda. Does any member of the council have any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
Make a motion we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
The motion to approve the agenda was made by Vice President Head and seconded by Councilmember Jones. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let the record show that all members of the council approve the agenda. Item number 2, public participation. This is the first of 2 opportunities for anybody listening or in the room to address the council about anything that you would like to address the council. Is there anybody that would like to address the council at this time? Please approach the podium, state your name for the record. And Wayne, if you will check the other room to see if anybody out there. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening, I'm Sharon Brannon. I'm here as a resident, as a business owner, and as chair of code enforcement.
I don't think it's on, Chair.
Is that better?
Oh.
No.
You just have to be close to it. That's all.
Yes.
There it goes.
Is that better?
No.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
A business owner and chair of code enforcement. And the reason that I'm here tonight is because I want to bring up again the topic of our downtown and the way the city looks. And I know we're trying to make great strides in the future with the pictures that everybody has presented earlier and what could be the future of our city. But for now, I think we need to try to do something now. And what's happened is my phone rings all the time and people are constantly calling me, why does our city have to look like this? Why is the downtown so ugly? Why can't we do anything about it? And sometimes I feel like I'm being implicated because I chair that board, and I feel like all of you are being implicated because you're sitting up here. They want to know, why doesn't council want to do anything about it? Why won't council make any changes? Well, we've tried. We tried to rewrite the code. We made our best effort at doing that. And I'm trying to explain what happened, which is it was combined at the time with one that has to write these codes. We're not professional code writers. We sit on a board and we hear things that come in front of us. So so what fueled this again last week is scrolling through Facebook, not that we listen to everything that we see on Facebook, but there's, you know, people out there complaining, why does our city continue to look like this? I didn't answer, I'm just reading everybody's posts. I get to the bottom, somebody had found a video from 4 years. We had this big meeting, and it would be a long time until that could ever possibly come to fruition. One is, you have to be able to get consensus of all the owners, and some of the owners apparently we're going to either have to wait till they move or till they die till something is going to change. And you have to get grants together, you have to get money, everybody has to be all on the same page. And although that may happen at some time in the future, it's not going to be anytime soon. And so I'm looking for a short-term answer, something that's quick and easy, and there's only one resolution I can see, and that's the same thing that we brought to council a few years ago when we came here as code enforcement and said, if you want the town to make an effort and you want to see a change, you have to be the first step. You do something and people will follow. So the city hall was painted. And it was a short-term fix, but it looked somebody finally takes the stance and decides to do something about it. With some of the owners to pressure wash and to paint. If nothing else, to do exactly what you've already done here. To improve as a quick fix what it looks like over there. It eats at me every single time I drive by every single day, the same ugliness. I'm so tired of hearing all the complaints. It's an embarrassment should be for you, for me, for all the people that live here. And an easy fix is, let's get some estimates on pressure washing and painting. And people said, oh, I'll volunteer, we'll come out and paint. But it's a huge two-story building. It can't be done by individuals. We can't pressure wash 2 stories of dirtiness up there. Not to mention around the corner in that empty lot where all the grass and the green is growing over all the buildings and it's coming down the side, and it literally is a gross embarrassment to this town. So I'm asking, maybe the owners would start even the same color that's in the drawings that you brought out. It's the same color as this building, tan and white. Just paint and pressure wash will go such a long way, and I have no idea how much it would be, maybe a few $1,000s. I know that I talked to on the corner, the mower shop a few years ago. What do we have to do to get that thing painted? And he said the owner didn't want to do it, but he would eventually do it, and they did. And all of a sudden, one day I'm sitting at the red light, and I looked at that building, and I was like, oh my God, they painted it. How great does that look? So it's an easy fix. It's something that we can do. Then we can at least, it's a start. We can be proud of what we have, and just waiting for this velocity to ever come around, it could be a really long time. And one of the reasons that I got on code enforcement to begin with was to try to make a change, to change the way things look, to clean up all the mess. And it bothers me that we can't seem to make any steps forward. So I'm asking council to consider where we stand, how much it would be for paint and pressure washing, but just some way to start the process to actually do something. The citizens think we're not doing anything, that we don't care, that you don't want to make a change. So we could either be the ones who sit back and do nothing and keep the ugliness for another 25 years, or we can get someone to pressure wash and paint and show these citizens that we do care about the town and do something about it.
Very much. Please give the microphone back to council. If we get the microphone fixed there.
No, they're not,
Okay.
we're working, for whatever reason.
Is there anybody else who would like to address the council at this time? Wayne, is there anybody in the hall?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hearing nothing else, we will move to item 3. Item 3 is the consent agenda, which is just the minutes of June 6th, 2020, regular city council meeting. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Had a motion by Vice President Head. It was seconded by Councilman Ross. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let the record show that all members of the council approve consent agenda. Item number 4, old business. Item A under old business is staff and board and councilor update, including the city manager, Dennis Stroh. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that.
You want the councilors to go first?
I want you to go first, sir.
The last meeting at the top of the hill water, property gone offline. We thought it was a lightning strike, but come to find out it's just natural wear. It is back up and running. The airport road or airport and Mission road wells were offline for mandatory testing. The tanks were cleaned and sanitized and certified for another 5 years. During inspection of the wells and tanks, they found no negative remarks. CJ is working with the entities involved and working on a new power contract that's fixing to come up pretty soon. He's trying to get the RFP together, and we'll be working with the city attorney to get all that up and running. We also discovered that our waste pro contract expires May 31st of this year. I've pulled the existing contract we got. I'm going to be in negotiation with them, see if we can extend it until we do a new RFQ for our garbage service. Another thing I've decided to do is up against this wall here, we're going to have another table. And I'll have all the department heads at the council meetings, and should the council have any questions, all the department heads will be present to answer the questions, and we'll be able to the public also. And the best news of all is as of closing the business today, there's 71 applicants that would like to be your city manager.
I counted 84.
Well, I'm not one of them. I want to go back across the street. That's what I have.
Any other staff or board updates? Okay, councilor updates. Does any member of the council have anything that, we have moved councilor updates to this point so that we didn't have to use our announcement time at the end of the meeting. So is there any member of the council that has any updates they would like to?
Just as a point of discussion, I would like to add Ms. Brannon's suggestion to the next agenda for consideration.
Did you understand that, Mrs. Wright?
I would also like to know how we're going to proceed with all these applications that we've received, unless somebody else has that at another point in time. I haven't seen it on the agenda, so I thought I would bring it up.
I noticed it wasn't on the agenda. And today, I don't see our HR.
She's going to be online tonight.
Pardon me?
She's watching online.
Watching online? Okay. Tonight, this was the deadline.
Oh, it was?
This was the deadline.
No, it was
No?
July 10th.
July 10th.
Can't remember, but I have it.
I thought it was 2 weeks for the next council meeting. Okay, thank you for that clarification. So the deadline is July 10th. We could break 100. It turns out that the,
Should we start ranking them amongst ourselves?
or was that a question?
Yes, it was.
I have already started.
You started?
I
Okay.
have been through
Would you like to listen to
67 of them,
Okay.
and I would recommend that at the council's discretion that you begin a process of trying to come up with a
Top 10 or something?
top 10, top 5. It's at your individual discretion. We're not going to put a number on how many.
Well, is that the way we're going to proceed? That's what I'm
That is the
asking.
way I would like to
That's
proceed.
how, I think that's how we did the,
Yeah.
city clerk, we started, reading through, and then our top 5, or,
Yeah.
And
And,
then maybe we can
and
get
one
copies.
counselor may have 6, so I don't want to
Exactly,
put a number on it, but try to go through and look at what you perceive to be good candidates. And then on July, we will begin deliberations on what that is, and sometime next year, we should be able to come up with something.
By the end of July.
So, at least interviews, right?
Okay?
All right.
Don't push me.
Anybody else before I start? Your Honor?
I have a couple of questions for Ms. Gorman. Can you give us a foreclosure update, please?
Last week, I sent all the links to the title and abstract so that we can go forward with getting a search done. We found a couple problems with a couple files I'm working through, so some of them may be amended. And I'll let you know when that comes back on how we proceed. But we're working on it daily, trying to make sure it's right. They said they try and do it in a couple of weeks, but they're all different. It depends on what they come across when they start looking at these searches. If it becomes complicated, it might be long.
Okay.
But we're on it daily.
Can they give us the easy one?
Sorry?
Can they give us the easy one?
That's what I was wondering.
We don't have to do
Do we
them all.
have to do them as a lump? Can we not just move forward with?
Ask him to go on and send them to me as he completes them. That's
Good deal. Perfect.
Okay, second question.
Because it's up like 80.
Any idea of
It's
when
down here.
you're gonna pave the area behind Block 12?
talking about the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
We had our CRA meeting last night. As you know, COVID kind of slowed us down. We had a momentum going as far as Block 12 and trying to decide how we were going to approach. So we tried to pick that up at our meeting last night, and what's happened is we have an RFQ prepared that we're going out for architectural services. That will help us do some estimates. Our parking lot is ready to go. We just need to review one more time. Some of the challenges is we're going to have is the expense of that. Mainly our underground utilities, going underground, trying to get it to the building. It's going to be a difficult process of getting everybody together, understanding what the costs are going to be to everybody to go underground. So there's a lot of things that we have to do at the same time to make this project get off the ground. But once we have our architect in place, doing things like the facade is going to come quicker. They'll be able to apply for a grant. We're going to get low interest loans. So there's a lot of things happening. But to answer your question, the parking lot is budgeted for this year, and we're just about ready to go. We're close to bid. We're just waiting for our architect to come in and review our documents one last time.
Any timetable on that, approximately?
The RFQ, we're doing pretty quickly. And all that is a request for qualifications, so that won't take but like 2 to 3 weeks. We'll look at it, we'll enter into a contract, take it before the CRA board, and then we can start. I think I got through the hard part throughout this last year with the parking lot, working with the engineer, trying to tweak the plans a little bit, but we do have a switch light permit already on it that we don't want to expire. So we're going to fast track that the best that we can. We know it's desperately needed. So that's a part of the answer your question.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other member of the council have anything they would like to discuss?
I was gonna say the same thing Ms. Jones did about the item from Mrs. Brandon about the agenda item, but question, can we get a copy of that prior proposal that was turned down by the council? Does anybody have that available?
I wasn't here either, so I'm not familiar with it.
Are we talking about the different changes?
Yeah, I'd just like to research the background on that and see. I know it was some issues with residential versus commercial, but I'd like to see what those proposals were. I would like to see it on the agenda, and then we can go further with it, but there's a lot of questions that come to mind.
Email that to all of us.
Did you understand that, Patricia?
Thank you.
Okay, I have a few things I would like to discuss. I don't know if everybody is aware that the city of Valdosta, Georgia, dumped 7.5 million gallons of sewage into the Withlacoochee River
Yeah.
which has went down the Swanee River, which we're part of, contaminating the Swanee River from any fishing or swimming in the entire Swanee River. This is going to take a long time. I found out the hard way. I went to the Swanee River State Park and tried to put my canoe in, and they would not let me. So we have a major issue. From the reports that I've read, the city of Valdosta has blamed it on a contractor that failed to throw a switch. Kind of boggles the mind, but that's where we are. So on top of this virus, we now have the Swanee River severely contaminated. And it's just another thing we have to deal with. We have to let our citizens know. I actually was talking to somebody today, and they had made a vacation rental on the Swanee River, had no idea that they wouldn't be able to go in. So it is something that it would be nice if the newspapers would and the media would get it out there so citizens are aware of it. I don't do that kind of thing on
That's what I
Facebook.
thought.
You guys can do it, I'm not doing it. The other thing, and I have a couple of them. We meet every 2 weeks, and the Florida Sunshine Law does not allow me to call you. The Florida Sunshine Law does not allow me to contact you. So if something happens in those 2 weeks, I have to deal with it and then wait for the council meeting to tell you that it has happened. That is the only mechanism that is allowed to us. So there's a couple of things that I want to get straightened out. One, I am the council president. I am one of you. I have no authority outside of the authority that you give me. I seek no authority outside of the authority that you give me. I had, pardon me, I had somebody call me about the hospital. And they told me the hospital had been sold. I said, well, I appreciate you letting me know. I didn't know it. And I asked a couple of questions, and in the end, I didn't feel that I had any information anyway. So this person asked me if it would be all right to call the council. I did not order this person to call the council. I did not take it on my authority. I simply said, I'm sure the rest of the council would like to know. So I want everybody to understand that is the way I operate this presidency. I do not order people around. There was another issue that came up. I had a meeting with the interim city manager and the city clerk over some issues that I was concerned about. During that meeting, it came up to me that the mayor had a copy of the S drive. And that's fine that the mayor has a copy of the S drive. I don't know what the S drive is. I don't know how it works. It's not my area. I have no business getting involved in it. So during the course of that meeting, I found out that the S drive is not protected, and that anybody that has access to it can make changes. I did, in my capacity as a counselor, tell the city clerk that that needed to be fixed, because by state law, the city clerk is responsible for retention of the records. And if the records can be changed, then she can't possibly be the custodian of records if somebody else can make changes to them. And I told her that I would give her a week, and if that had not been changed, I would inform the council about it. I do not know if it has been changed. No one has told me. I did not tell the city clerk to change it. I advised her of my position on it and informed her that I would let the council know that this was a condition that we were facing. I don't know what the resolution was. It's now before you. We're not going to discuss it. It's not on the agenda. But what I know, I want you to know. And that is what I know. Okay? The last thing that I wanted to bring up was I asked the city clerk for a copy. I thought I knew what the president's job was. So I asked the city clerk for a copy of the charter of exactly what the job of the president of the city council was. And I have that with me. I have reviewed it innumerable times. And I feel comfortable in where I am now that I have had a chance to refresh myself on it. I was the council president for 2.5 years some time back, and I had looked at it then. But to say that I can remember 2.5 years is a stretch. So that's the last thing that I had.
Can I make a comment?
You may.
I'm sorry. I would just say that if you have information that you need to get to us, strictly information, not discussion, obviously, I feel like you could tell the interim city manager or the city clerk to give us information. I don't think it's something that needs to wait 2 weeks. I don't think there's a problem with that. I'm looking at Mr. Cooper.
Yeah, the Florida Sunshine Law is very...
I mean, you can't communicate with me, but I think if you know something that is in regard to the city... And
here's my position, and
they could notify us.
Pardon me. All I could do was what I thought was right.
Sure.
And my concern is violating the Sunshine Law.
Yes.
And if it is something that we're going to vote on, and I inform somebody to inform the council, my concern is that I personally might be violating. Now, there's nothing to stop the city clerk from calling.
I started to say they should know too if you do.
Yeah,
So they should be able,
that's
what I'm
correct.
saying, they
But
should be
don't
able to
ask
inform.
me to tell them to call you. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
They should inform you.
I mean, y'all could have a discussion. Is there any problem with them having a discussion and him telling them they need, if he's the only one that knows, and giving them direction to notify us?
So long as they do not provide you, President Goodman's
Opinion.
The example here, as long as they don't provide the president's opinion on it. For example, if they were to call you and tell you that there's an issue that will be discussed at the upcoming meeting about Valdosta, once again polluting the Swanee River, after many, many times over the last 20 years, then that's one thing. But if they tell you Mr. Goodman would like to vote yea or nay on the pollution item,
Right.
and so please be ready, then that's providing too much information. So it becomes a tough position for what we're on the conduit for the messenger.
Well, usually these two will know if he knows.
What we do, yes, what we do most often where you see this is when someone feels the need to call a special meeting.
Right.
And then they get that inquiry from one, and then they poll you all, and you shouldn't be told who wants one and doesn't want one. Are you willing to hold or vote for one? And then they let you know when they have the requisite number of votes.
Exactly.
But they shouldn't be telling you who's voting this or that.
But if there's an important issue, he doesn't need to wait 2 weeks
He does not need to wait 2 weeks.
to notify us. I'm not him notify us, but have us notified, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Technically, he could notify you, but it's a slippery slope.
No, I wouldn't ask him to do
And
that.
for example, he forwarded a news clipping. But it's safer to have a conduit. And again, the conduit would simply provide the substance of the message, not Mr. Goodman's opinion.
Exactly. Thank you.
Did that clarify it for you?
It did for me, did it for you?
Oh, no.
Oh, come on.
Is there anybody else in the council that has anything they would like to have discussed? Okay. We will move to item B from Councilmember Jones. I shudder for this one. Go ahead.
Don't shudder. I
I've
don't want
had
you to shudder.
multiple phone calls about this.
Mr. Goodman,
Sir,
I have one more thing I need to
Oh,
discuss.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Under the, update, when the COVID-19 hit, the council decided to suspend late payments and cutoffs.
Yes.
I think we are down to probably about 5 that, has not moved forward to try to take anything, or take anything. How much longer, what's the council's will, about how much longer do you want to suspend the late payments? And when do we start looking at maybe possible cutoffs?
Are we currently in phase 2?
We are in phase 2.
This is not something we need to vote on, but we certainly could discuss it. Does anybody have any comments on that issue?
Some of the ones that severely behind, staff has contacted them and they started making some arrangements to make payments. But we have 5, I guess, at this time that has they'd actually be eligible for cutoff because there's been no movement on their part. And it's not fair, to send CJ's crew out to cut it off tomorrow, but at what point do we need to say this is when we're gonna go back to normal operating procedures?
With the July bill?
Yeah, I would say the next billing
Yeah.
period.
And give them so many months to catch up?
Right, and we will, staff will work with them with a payment plan, to catch up, and we're trying to figure out what point do we put them on notice, that the late payments will start back and subject to being cut off.
And the late payments will be not on the previous, from this time forward.
Yes.
Does everybody on the council want to start in July?
I would say, July we're in phase 2.
Correct.
And I think most people are back to work.
Right.
Not
Right.
everybody, but.
I would give them July, the next billing period.
Is there anybody that would not like to do that?
I have concern about that being soon. I think the ones that haven't reached out to us should be working with us in some capacity. They know the payments are due, even if we suspend the cutoffs and late penalties and such.
Work out a payment plan.
This is June, 16th?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's another 2 weeks away, plus or minus?
Yeah.
Plus till the 10th, when it's
Plus till the 10th.
late, yeah, add another 10 on there for.
Right.
Almost a month, not quite. And I would say send the 5 a letter telling them that specifically.
Can I just add that, Bronson is giving everyone till next month, they're gonna start adding on late payments. Ocala's giving everyone till, today, June 16th. Gainesville is giving everyone till July 17th.
So all the municipalities around us have taken action beginning on the July bill. So I think the city manager has heard the council, and that what the general consensus is that we would like you to start with the July bill. And they would have to start paying late payments, and we would be looking at cutoffs if they're not making arrangements.
Correct, and no late payments for anything prior to July.
No late payments
Anything
for,
from July going forward.
that's right.
Got it.
Thank you for bringing that up. Unfortunately, there's sometimes a few people that take advantage of a situation. And I know times are hard for everybody.
And then again, we will be willing to work with payment plans.
Yes.
To work with our citizens. That's all I have.
That's all you have. CJ?
Just a quick question on that. You said on the July bill, which would only come due payable in August. Is that what we were referring to? Or
Can you speak a little louder or go to the microphone?
That's true.
If it's working or not. At least you'll be closer.
Every now and then, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Better?
Yes.
Okay. Just for clarification, are we talking about the July bill that is due in July, or the July mailing bill which is due in August?
That's a good question.
I think the July bill that's due July 10th. That's what I intended anyway. Late after the 10th is what I was thinking.
We cleared up on that? Thank you for that clarification, CJ. I never see a bill. So, my wife does all that, so I don't know when bills are due or anything.
Right back to B.
Aaron, I thought you had stopped this thing from going quiet on me. Okay. Item B. We're still on item B and we're back on item B. I'm sorry for the interruption. Some people didn't seem to get their act in order in time.
It was important. I have brought this subject up again, not necessarily because I feel like we need to have fireworks, because even though we are in phase 2 now, and even though the governor has, as of today, released the numbers, and the county has gone into actually almost a phase 3. I don't know if you heard any of that on the news today. But I feel like we need to, I feel like that if we will decide what we're going to do, we had some discussion at the last meeting about doing it on Veterans Day. And either having a parade or fireworks. I think if we could decide what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, that it would make a lot of people a whole lot happier. And I think the interim city manager has done some research on it in regard to payment, if I understand correctly. And because he saw it on the agenda, he did take the initiative to do that, and I appreciate that. I think I don't know if you want to tell him or you want me to.
Well, we got a couple different options. The mayor and I discussed it. I did get with the city attorney. Then we have money budgeted in this budget, to buy fireworks. And of course, we want it again for next budget year. According to the legal opinion, is we can prepay for fireworks and use them maybe either like the mayor and I talked about Veterans Day. And it's just a wild idea. I hate to release all of it because I had talked to some of the key players involved. But maybe have our little parade, some vendors, go to a location and kind of have like an old small town celebration and then with fireworks. Or the other thing I'm seeing a lot of, and I think Ms. Jones talked about, a lot of cities are starting to do, is Labor Day.
Right.
Which, signals the end of summer. So I think either one, it will work. If legal says we want to push it off to November, we can prepay using money that's in the current budget. And Stephen Bloom also says it can be done. Or if we decide to go ahead and do something like Labor Day, then of course that fireworks money is actually in this budget year. So I'm all for fireworks, but especially if you look at, and I've seen all the daily updates of the new COVID-19 cases, we went from like 25 to 127. And it's because of the close proximity of so many people. And I love fireworks. I love the July 3rd. And actually, when I was still in Marion County, I used to always volunteer to come over to work it because it's so enjoyable. But the cards are kind of stacked against us, I think, this year. That's my opinion.
And I'm not asking for 4th of July. I just put it on there because that's what we discussed last time. And he's right. We saw a lot of people, and there are some cities that are doing it on Labor Day because it is the end of the summer and the beginning of the new school year. And it is the same fiscal year, and that is the point. But it becomes a moot point that you can decide either way. if we're allowed to pay this year and this fiscal year and have them in Veterans Day. I actually prefer Veterans Day because I love, that's the cause for 4th of July, and I believe to move it to that would be great. And I think if we can start making those plans, notify our firework vendor and try to line up a location to shoot those, I think we need to do that instead of just waiting until we're so close we can't accomplish it.
I do know the mayor has, plans to do a Veterans Day celebration here. The parade this year is in Chiefland, of course, that'd be later early in the morning, and what the mayor and I talked about was like later in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't infringe upon anything we decided to do in Chiefland.
So what do you think?
I like the Veterans idea, Veterans Day idea.
Personally, my opinion is, I would hate, I understand the circumstances, but to start something for Veterans Day that we won't be able to continue in years to come, while Veterans Day is very important too, I mean, it was, my expectation or my feelings towards it was to basically cancel this year and do it big next year for 4th of July or 3rd of July and start back up. So at this point, that was kind of my feeling towards it.
That would be my feeling also.
And that would be my feeling also. It's a dead duck. We had to cancel it.
We did have to.
I just think that we should, my opinion is that my vote will always be, you know, we canceled this, we agonized over it, we take the fallout from it, but we did it for the good of the citizens. And we had to make that decision. I felt like we made the right decision, that's my opinion, and I would agree with the Vice President and Councilor Ross that we just don't do it this year. The victim of the virus. That may be poetic.
Another one, another big one.
So, all of the councils had an opportunity to speak. Is there a motion?
Simply just discussion.
Discussion.
Because I agree that we did cancel it for the right reason. But we also discussed having them at another time, so that's why I brought it back.
That is correct. It is just for discussion. Thank you for pointing that out. So, press, we're not gonna do it.
Sorry.
Your Honor.
What it says here, discussion with possible action.
Yeah, I did ask that it be put
Oh,
on.
yes, she said discussion, I quit reading. So there is no motion?
I won't make it if that's not y'all's will. I just wanted to discuss it.
Your Honor,
May I ask a question?
you may.
Last time when the fireworks was canceled, there was discussion that we would substitute Veterans Day fireworks at Veterans Day. We have, it is in the budget for fireworks to do this. And I just want to clarify that the council is not going to do any fireworks, even though some of their sister cities around here may be doing it on Labor Day or possibly even Veterans Day. And that this council is declining to do the fireworks at any time until next July.
That is the will of the council, Your Honor.
That's my question.
That is the will of the council.
Okay. And I think you're wrong, but.
That's what I heard.
That's for the record. I just want to put my thoughts out there.
Okay, thank you so much. Item C, Resolution 2020-12-A, a resolution of the City of Lewiston of Levy County, Florida, authorizing the city to open a money market account for public deposits at Drummond Bank, authorizing specific persons to be signatories of the account, and providing for an effective date. Mr. Bloom, are you available?
Yes, he is. Just a second. gonna try.
Third time's the charm, right?
Okay, go Stephen.
Good evening, council. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Well, thank you, sir.
Mr. President, would you like me to kind of recap this agenda item?
Please.
Sure. This agenda item, we briefly touched on it at the last council meeting. What we are looking to do is open up a money market account with Drummond to earn a little bit of interest on some of the cash that's already at Drummond Bank. Some more background on this: we would not be moving money out of the bank. All we would be doing is putting any excess cash that's not needed for current operations into this money market account to achieve a little bit more interest. Now, obviously, 6 months ago versus what the rates are right now is a huge difference. The rates right now are really bad, so there isn't maybe a huge sense of urgency to rush to do this. But the whole idea, what we're trying to do with this, and then later on when we maybe talk about some other investments, is to develop a kind of comprehensive investment plan for the city that is beyond just putting money into CDs. By having a money market account and having some CDs and maybe some other things down the line when the markets kind of recover, the city will be able to maximize and achieve the best interest rates while also keeping the money safe and also having liquidity for the city's operations and capital projects. So this is just kind of a one step and a longer step and a longer discussion that we need to have in terms of investments and, really long term once we kind of get past the current situation. But that's kind of why this is being brought in front of the council. We wanted to, again, obviously communicate what we were doing, start the process, and then there will be some additional steps down the line. Nothing else will be done until the council approves each of those steps, and this is just one of them.
Thank you, Mr. Bloom. Any member of the council have any comments on this? Hearing no comments, do I have a motion?
I move resolution number 2020-12, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, authorizing the city to open a money market account for the public deposits at Drummond Bank, authorizing specific persons to be signatories of that account and providing for an effective date.
I have a motion by Council Member Jones. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by the Vice President Head. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those against signify the same. Aye. Let the record show that all members of the council, with the exception of the president, voted to approve this resolution. The resolution is approved. Item number 5, new business. Item A, final public hearing, ordinance 680, an ordinance by the City of Williston, Florida, amending the official zoning map of the City of Williston, Florida, pursuant to an application by the City of Williston for Camellia Plantation Phase 2 to change the zoning from county residential to city residential. Mrs. Gorman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you will recall, right before we recessed for the COVID and everybody worked remote, we brought to you the first reading of this ordinance. To do a quick summary, we had an application for a building permit come through, and there was some problems with establishing the setback. So I went through to try and find the ordinance to verify the zoning, because our zoning map did not have a zoning designation on it, and I thought maybe the map had just not been updated, and found that it was annexed, but a zoning was never assigned to the plantation. So anyway, everyone's in compliance with R1, but we need to make this official. So this is the second reading of the ordinance, assigning a zoning designation of R1 to Camellia Plantation.
Thank you. Any comments from the council? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve.
Sorry, we read the entire title. I'll read it if you like.
I cannot hear you.
May I read the
Yes,
entire
you may.
title? An ordinance of the City of Lewiston, Florida, amending the official zoning map of the City of Lewiston, Florida, pursuant to an application by the City of Lewiston for Camellia Plantation, Phase 2, a total of 26.170 acres, more or less, recorded in Plat Book 10, pages 25 and 26 of the public records of Levy County, Florida, and also identified on the official records of the Levy County Property Appraiser, changing the zoning designation from county residential to city R1 single-family residential zoning, providing severability, providing for incorporation on city maps, and providing an effective date period.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland, for keeping us straight on that. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve ordinance number 680 as read by Mr. Copeland.
Second.
Vice President Head has made the motion. Councilor Jones has seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Let the record show that all members of the council approved this motion. Item B, discussion with possible action. Resolution 2012-7, Mayor Robinson.
No, that is incorrect.
Yeah.
B is discussion, resolution 2012-07.
I'm sorry, are you saying that it's not with possible action?
I am.
That it would have been good to corrected that at the beginning?
It
but
was,
we will
it
move
had been
forward.
sent to everyone.
We will move forward.
What I'm bringing to the council here is resolution 2012-07. Some of the councilmen say it's a petty situation. However, it is a resolution that was voted on and approved by the council that is not being implemented today. Back on Tuesday, May the 21st, 2012, there was a procedural workshop regarding this resolution and other items that you see at the bottom of the agenda. Those were placed there based on that workshop. On June 19th, 2012, the resolution was voted on and approved. And I might add that President Goodman and Councilman Ross, they were at that procedure workshop on May 21st, 2012. And at the time the resolution passed, Mr. Goodman seconded the motion, and both he and Mr. Ross approved it as it was voted unanimously 4-0 with one counselor absent. And the resolution that I'm talking about here basically is a vote the way that the council votes. In this resolution, it states all votes will be counted by show of hands. The outcome of all votes and all propers of motions and seconds will be verbally summarized by the presiding officer for the benefit of the city clerk and for identification purposes on the audio recording made of each council meeting. So this resolution is still in effect, and I challenge the council that the votes on anything that comes to them should be by a show of hands, basically as I read here in this resolution, which it is not being done.
I'm not gonna do it.
Any member of the council have anything to say besides me before I start?
I feel like a 5-year-old raising my hand.
Yeah.
You can't hear me, so
So
yes.
here's the mayor's,
I didn't even realize it was here, but
yeah,
I don't.
here's
see
the
it.
mayor's point. For some reason, the mayor went back. Does any member of this council know every resolution that has ever passed? Of course not.
God.
Of course not.
Matter of fact, I can't find them, I'm looking.
I will go one step further. This particular thing was, and I'm sure the mayor is aware of it, we were trying to make sure that we had an orderly meeting. Yes, the mayor says I did it, the paperwork says I did it, I won't dispute that. I was a new counselor, I was trying to get the meeting organized. Sometimes mistakes are made. Here's my position. The president of the council is responsible for the conducting of the meeting. And for a council in 2012 to tell a president in 2020 how he has to have the meeting done is, to put it politely, absurd. It is also not correct. While this says this show of hands and everything, and it hasn't been done. After this ordinance, after this resolution was passed, I've been on the council ever since, and I can tell you that it wasn't until last year when the mayor went back, I don't care why, but he decided to go back and find this resolution and find this one sentence in this resolution and try to say, you must do this. And I'll be frank, I told him no. I said, these people are adults, they're elected officials. The point of the resolution is the important thing to me. And the point of the resolution was to make sure that all members of the council voted and that their vote was known and recognized. And to say that they have to raise their hand, and I believe from my memory of the reading that the mayor sent me, it doesn't even say they have to verbalize, it'll say they have to raise their hand. Well, I'm running the meeting now. And I told the mayor that I'm the president of this council, and I won't do it. And I tried to meet with the mayor and come to some agreement. We could not. So the mayor said, bring it to the council. So what I would ask of the council is to repeal this one line in this ordinance, in this resolution, so that the mayor could be comfortable. Because I don't want to have to. I asked him, I said, so what do I do if some member of the council doesn't raise their hand? He says, you got to make them.
It says right here, failure of the council to abide by these rules may not be used on a basis to contest any decision rendered. So it kind of waives it right there.
It is a procedural. What we're talking about is parliamentary procedure. And we had during this period a long discussion about Robert's Rules of Order and determined that the Florida Sunshine Law won't allow Robert's Rules of Order. You can't use it. And the mayor will remember, since he researched this so thoroughly, that then Norm Fugit, who was on this workshop, pointed out that this is an impossible task, but we can at least try. And I agree, we can at least try. But don't come back to me 8 years later and tell me that I've got to have every counselor raise their hand, and that if they don't, I have to chastise them in the council. I'm not going to do it. I think it's ridiculous. I make sure the votes are counted. As you have heard in this meeting, it is very clearly articulated. If you're blind, you still know. If you can't hear, let us know, we'll give you aid. But you can read it. But I just think that this is a ridiculous thing, and I even question would bring something like this up when he is not a member of the council. He does not vote on the council. And I think that it's outside of the scope of his responsibilities, and so I'm adamant, I'm not going to do it. So, if the council will, my request is that you repeal the line that requires everybody to raise their hand in resolution, whatever it is, resolution 2012-07. Any other discussion by the council? Councilor Head.
I personally don't have a problem either way. I've sat down and raised my hand every time I said aye today because immediate past President Winninger asked us to do that last year, so I've continued to do it. But my question is, while we're talking about all this, we don't have the clock that I can see anymore for 5 minutes for public participation. Was that at a request, or we just don't have it?
No, I don't know what happened to that clock, and you're right. I wondered that earlier, and I will address it in some manner in the future.
My point being, if we're gonna address some of this, and that were an election to remove that, we need to talk about that as well. I'm good with the 5-minute rule, and I just didn't see the clock.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mayor, rebuttal.
So you're saying that any resolution that has been passed by a former council that you do not agree with, you will not abide by?
Congratulations, Mayor. You just put words into my mouth.
No, I'm asking that as a question.
Okay.
Not as a statement.
And it is meant to be inflammatory, and you know that's not what I'm saying, and you know that that's not my intent. You know that my position is that this particular red line in this resolution probably was a mistake.
Even though you seconded and voted for it?
You have said that several times. You want to say
Agreed.
it again? Why don't you say it again?
No, I don't have to.
Good.
You
It's
want-
on the record.
Okay, I have a question for Mr. Cobra. Does the president of the council, whoever it is, have to adhere to the resolutions passed by any former council?
It's a physical impossibility. They should adhere and uphold all resolutions and ordinances. It's a physical possibility to obviously make President Goodman or any other president do so. The only way that you could do anything about it is to have an impeachment proceeding amongst the other council members, which is the essence of how you call the qualifications of a council member.
And I will make this easy for you. If 2 members of the council, there are 4 members of this council, if 2 members of the council would like it, I offer my resignation. I will not be forced to do something. It doesn't take 3 of you, it only takes 2 of you. I feel strongly that this is an inappropriate resolution. It is simply a line within the body of a resolution. And I am willing to ask, I will not make the motion, but I'm asking the council to make the motion to strike this resolution, thereby getting this line in this resolution, thereby allaying the mayor's concerns. Councilor Ross.
Mr. President, if I
Yes.
want to say aye, raise my hand, raise both hands, am I doing something wrong?
You are not, and I pointed out to the mayor that people in general are raising their hands, but the mayor wants to make a point here.
Well, and I always say nay if I'm voting against it too. Nobody's ever called me down, but that's not what it says.
No, it's not what it says. It is simply a line that you and I were part of. I was a new council member at the time, just learning the ropes, trying to find out, trying to understand everything. And the general context of the resolution, I still agree with. It's about civility. Shouldn't have to have a resolution doing it. We should be able to be civil without a resolution, but we have it as a resolution. In the context of the resolution, I have no issues with. It is simply the one line, and I have no problem with the existence of one line. The mayor has a problem with me not adhering strictly to the one line. So I'm not going to do it. I'm telling you. You can impeach me, You can do what you want, I'm not gonna do it. I run the meeting. That is the only job the president of the council has, is to run the meeting. He has no authority outside of that. His job is to run the meeting, and I am not going to allow the mayor to tell me how to do it.
The mayor is not trying to tell you how to do it. The resolution is telling you how to do it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I move we strike the first sentence under L, item L, in resolution 2012-07.
Mr. President, may I offer this?
You may.
Councilmember Jones, that the motion is to instruct the city attorney to bring it back, because it is mentioned on the discussion on the agenda.
Absolutely. I move that we refer it to the city attorney.
Councilor Jones has made a motion to refer it to the city attorney for striking the necessary language from that resolution. I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion dies from lack of a second. I'm sorry.
I understood this to be for discussion only, and that it would be a request to have Mr. Copeland bring it back to the next agenda. That's my understanding.
That was my motion.
So do we need a motion to do that, or can't we just request to have it put on the agenda next meeting?
I guess we
Well, it would have to come on the agenda. The motion was to allow the city attorney to do that, and then it would be placed on the agenda and voted on. And if it was voted down at that point, it would be certain.
Do we just need to direct you instead of have a motion, have a vote?
Either way, it's fine, I was just
Okay.
clarifying that we were going to come back to another meeting.
I
If
see.
there is a consensus of
They didn't know if we could vote on it if it wasn't.
vote on it, if it specifically says discussion, we have health,
Right.
action, we have action in other locations.
So-
But there's obviously no point directing you to do anything if you don't have a consensus.
Okay, so we can make a motion for it.
Yes,
Yes.
but that motion
That was my
has to
motion.
be second.
That was my question.
Which-
Were we improperly, did we have an
We're not
improper motion?
voting on doing
Okay.
that.
But we can just ask him to do it by general consent with everybody.
Right, that's what he said, yeah. If he's okay with that, that's.
But even if we do that, he has to bring it back before us, and it has to be voted on.
I would ask him to bring it back to the next meeting.
I have a motion. Is that a second, sir?
He says we don't need to vote on it, we just refer it.
I've got the gist of it now.
Okay, so we're not going to do a motion. We're not going to do, motion is stricken.
Yes.
There is no second. The discussion is that we would like you to bring it back to us in that form and put it on the next agenda so that the council can vote on it.
If I may, Mr. President, on any item, forgetting this resolution, Councilmember Jones just beat me to the punch. She came out with a motion, so I asked her to revise it.
Right.
Because we told the public it was for discussion. That's all we told the public. And so we weren't going to take final action on it.
But because we revised it, it was a motion for referral.
Right.
It's okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Coberlin. Item number 6, public participation. Is there any member of the public that would like to address the council at this time?
Anybody still over their way?
Good evening, everyone.
Please speak as loudly as you can. That microphone is terrible.
Good evening, everyone.
I was just sitting over in the other room, and this is my first meeting. I have to say, I'm offended in the last conversation that it's just taken over 12 minutes, and the most impassioned conversation you all have had all evening, and it's been about a procedural rule rather than the blight that we're seeing in the city. That so many citizens care so deeply about and want to help in any way they can. So I would appreciate it if you would really focus your attention back on what's really important from a city council, and that is taking care of the city that you are supposed to be watching over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me. I didn't get your name.
Ma'am, she didn't get your name.
Paula Jenkins.
Paula Jenkins. Thank you. Anybody else in the public? Hearing none, we will move to announcements, item 7. I will start at this side of the room and work my way that way. Mr. Coberlin, do you have anything for us?
No, sir.
Mrs. Wright? City Manager? Councilor Ross? No, sir. Councilmember Jones?
We have a Thursday meeting in this location, right?
Tomorrow.
That's what I mean.
No.
No.
It's Thursday. Thursday.
I'm sorry, yes, I do.
At 10 o'clock, right?
Thank you.
Don't let me forget.
Ethics webinar, Thursday, start at 10 o'clock, is at 4, lunch from 12 to 1:30. And I have everybody registered, you should receive it, or have received the email. If not, just check your computer.
Okay? Thank you, Councilor Jones.
That's all I have.
Your Honor.
Well, I'm doing a webinar tomorrow at 10 to 12, and then next Wednesday, I'm not doing the whole thing on Thursday.
Okay.
I guess you're doing that at your home or?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you. I didn't even know that was an option.
yes.
Vice President Head.
No.
Councilor Robinson. I have nothing. This meeting is adjourned.